Hey folks, SSR hooded variant of Jessica here today with a little Stiggy in my lap, and today I want to do a character spotlight. It's been a while since we've done one of these, and today I want to do one on Caim. So, I mentioned in streams and videos lately that I picked up a few more of the Arcarum Evokers. I picked up Caim, Katskelia, and Geissenborger. And Caim is the first up. If you aren't aware, I've also done character spotlights already on Alanon and Nier, and I will just be upfront with you. Alanon, Nier, and Caim are well and clearly above the rest of the evokers in terms of quality and importance of getting. They are the S tier of evokers. All the others range from pretty good to alright slash good in a specific situation, but Alanon, Nier, and Caim are meta-defining for their respective elements. It's just the way it is. They are the ones you should definitely prioritize getting first because they really change like the overall effectiveness of those elements. And I will be honest, I was really tempted with Caim to just go stroll down here for the character spotlight and be like, Caim has a skill called the Hangman Reverse, and it gives you a boost to attack, defense, and damage cap when all equipped weapons are different when you're running a Highlander grid. And that's why you run Caim. I'm not gonna do that. I will get into Caim's entire toolkit because he frankly does do a lot of things and is rather complicated. But I will be upfront with you. This is 95 to 99% of the reason why you use Caim. He is one of those characters that does a ton of things, and some of them are pretty good, but really it's only the one thing you care about. That's Caim. And to be fair, this effect is strong enough that it alone makes Caim one of the top 3 evokers. It's just the way it is. Dig is wriggling around my lap. He might wake up at some point and be a guest. Also, SSR hooded variant of Jessica comes with a milk tea, so I will stab it as my custom on stream. Anyways, let's get into it. Okay, I have thought long and hard about how to actually explain Caim's skills because they are that freaking complicated. So I think I'm actually going to start at the bottom with the most important thing, because honestly, this is, again, 99% of the reason you use Caim. So the Hangman Reversed. When Caim's a sub-ally and all your weapons are different, so you were running a Highlander grid, I'll give you an example. A grid like this, all the weapons are different, see? You will gain the bonus from the Hangman Reversed. And then also, if you're running if you're not familiar with Highlander, Highlander pretty much implies you're running the Scales of Dominion as well, because this will give you a damage cap, an attack and damage cap increase when all weapons are different. So Caim allows you to double up. Basically, you're getting double Highlander. Like, you're getting 2 bonuses from being Highlander. And that's what makes Caim so good, because it's already kind of a meta grid for a lot of elements, and then Caim just further boosts it. But let's look at the numbers. So, when you have a Highlander grid and Caim's a sub-ally, gonna reiterate that this only takes effect if Caim is a sub-ally, and that's one of the reasons why Caim doesn't really leave the back row very often. Because if you ever let Caim out of the basement, to be honest, then you'll lose this bonus. So that's why Caim basically lives in the basement. You gain a 20% boost to Earth Allies attack, 50% boost to defense, and 10% boost to damage cap. That is a huge bonus to just passively get for nothing, essentially. So that's why this is a very, very large bonus to just passive. I can't overstate it, actually. This is an absolutely ridiculous bonus to get just passively. You'll hit harder, your cap will be higher, and you'll be much tankier just for having Caim in the back row. That's why Caim is super meta for Earth. The only times you wouldn't run Caim is if you're in a really hard fight and running a grid that's like multiple Ichiko Hito Furies, like 3 or 4 of those things, because you need that much damage in order to actually like beat the boss's defense reasonably. That's the only reason why you want to run Highlander and Earth. Okay, we got the easy part out of the way. How do we explain the rest of Caim's kit? I think we'll start in a weird spot, and that's with Blank Face. This is his 3rd skill, and it might seem strange to start here, but really this is the only order that's going to make Caim make any semblance of sense. So you might note that this has no duration, no cooldown. And That's because it doesn't do anything on its own. Skill effect changes based on type of skill that is first used by a main ally. So basically, blank face on its own does nothing, but as soon as you use a skill, any of your main allies use a skill, including Caim himself, I might add, it will change blank face permanently into one of these tricks. So spade trick, heart trick, dime trick, club trick. And it will stay as that trick with a 5-turn cooldown until you charge attack. If you charge attack, Caim will do Golden Dawn, and Golden Dawn does massive damage, massive earth damage to a foe. And then Caim's third skill will reset back to blank face. So if you were to start the fight, if you were to use a red border skill, so this is all by borders, a damaging skill, it would change it to spade trick. It will stay spade trick until you charge attack, in which case it will become blank face again. It will also reset the cooldown of his third skill, by the way, if you charge attack. Oh man, I'm explaining this. I'm already confused. Okay, so we'll reset the cooldown. Now, if you use another skill, it will again set the type of trick it is. So the way this tracks, it's all based on border. So damaging skills are red border. That will make it spade trick. Healing skills, green border. Make it a heart trick. Buff skills are yellow border. It'll make it diamond trick. Debuffing skills are blue border. It will make it club trick. So you do have some ability to switch which skill it is, but it is pretty clunky and slow. But do note that if you need to use his 3 often, the more times you charge attack, the more times you'll just reset it. Okay, that was about 25% of skill. Let's talk about the rest. Okay, so what do the tricks actually do? They all do thing, and then they give Caim a stacking buff. So, spade trick. It'll make Caim attack without using a turn. So think Dante and Freyheit, think Pengi, think Relic Buster with Blitz Raid. Caim will attack once out of sequence. He won't charge attack. Heart trick will restore 20% of all allies' HP. It's 2,000 healing cap. Diamond trick. All allies will gain 15% charge bar. And then club trick will inflict delay, 10% attack down, 10% defense down. Those are both stackable up to 40%. I will add that 40% is pretty high for stacking attack and defense down. So that's pretty nice. Now, that's not all they do, because they also give Caim a stacking buff that depends on the suit of the trick that was used. So if you aren't familiar with playing cards, Caim is playing card themed. Like if you haven't gathered that by now. So spade trick will grant spade buffs, heart trick will grant heart buffs, diamond trick diamond buffs, club trick club buffs, etc. And they stack up to 4, but they don't stack 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, because that would be way too simple, and Caim is way too stylized for that. They stack Jack, Queen, King, Ace. So Jack, it would be rank 1, Queen rank 2, King rank 3, Ace rank 4. So yes, you want to get Ace on everything, essentially. Now, what do the stacking buffs do? Well, glad you asked. Spade Trick will give Caim attack boost based on the rank, and then elemental damage will be treated as superior element to the target. This cannot be removed. None of these can be removed, which is pretty good, admittedly. Jack of Spades gives 10% attack up, Queen 20, King 35, Ace 50. Heart Trick will give a boost to healing specs for Caim, and then also make Caim's attacks drain. And that stacks from 10% to 50% once again. And then Diamond Trick will, I believe, what does it do again? Yeah, it boosts defense, and then elemental damage from foes turn into water damage. So it gives you a water switch, essentially. And the defense boost is 25% to 100%. Then the last one is Club Trick, and Club Trick will boost debuff success rate, and then also give Caim an echo, basically. And it is debuff success rate starts at 10% for Jack, and then 50% for Ace. And then it's always a 10% bonus earth damage, 10% echo. Bonus earth damage is earth echo, essentially. So all these are permanent, which makes them pretty good. However, there's a few issues. Let's just get this out of the way. These are going to be pretty clunky to stack. It would take you a while to stack them all. With one caveat, you could potentially get lucky with the full upright. We'll get into that later. But otherwise, it's going to be pretty clunky to set this up. And then also, these buffs are only for Caim. If these were party buffs, then actually, you can make a legitimate case for running Caim front load, but these buffs are all just for Caim. So yes, keep that in mind. They're held back by the fact that they're just not easy to stack consistently. It would take a while, and also they're only for Caim. Okay, we covered Blank Face, which is the trickiest one, and then Golden Dawn, the charge tag. So let's talk about Caim's first skill, Double Deal. This one's somewhat straightforward. It's one of those skills for ready time, so it won't be ready for first 3 turns, and I believe that doesn't count down unless Caim is in the front row. So it gives all allies double deal, all Earth allies double deal, I should say. And double deal makes it so the next skill that they use can be recast with no cooldown. So it lets them essentially, like all your Earth allies, reuse one skill. That's pretty good. There's probably some strats you can use with it that are pretty powerful. The main issue with it is it has a ready time, so that's going to make it a little bit limited in where you might want to use it. But there are probably some strats you could work this into that'd be pretty strong. And the other issue is it can't be recast, so for a particularly long fight, it's not like you're going to gain benefit from this multiple times, but it's not a bad skill. There's probably some fun stuff you can do with it. The second skill he has is Beginning of Joker, or is it End of Joker? It's both, because Caim is just complicated. So when you first use this skill, or when you first start the fight, I should say, this skill will be Beginning of Joker. When you use it, it will become End of Joker with a 7-turn cooldown. So what does Beginning of Joker do? It copies an ally's skill. So this is just like Luna Lu's copy. It's just like Golden Knight's copy. It's a copy ability. Anything you copy of those abilities, you would copy here. There is a strategy with Caim that's fairly legit. Here, let's see. Zeta and Visaraga. So if you're running Zeta and Visaraga front line, they have the skill Magic Horizons. I've talked about this when I was talking about Golden Knight. This gives you a 50% attack boost, an 80% Earth Echo, guaranteed triple, and 70% defense down. The strat for running Caim front row is you have Caim copy this, so Zeta and Visaraga have this, Caim will have this. The duration is as such that it's basically indefinite, and you have 2 really turbocharged attackers that will attack with a huge echo and guaranteed triple every turn. That was a legit reason to run Caim front row, but Caim has kind of like that's lost a little bit of legitimacy, honestly. It's lost a little bit of legitimacy because Golden Knight came out. And if you have Golden Knight, then you're much better off running Golden Knight front row with Zeta and Visaraga and running Caim back row. Because remember, the Hangman Reverse only works if Caim's the sub ally. So you're losing 20% Earth attack, 50% defense, and 10% boosted damage cap if you run Caim front row. So now that Golden Knight is out, if you really wanted to run that strat, you run Golden Knight front row of Zeta Visaraga, Caim back row, and then you get the best of both worlds. And honestly, Golden Knight has a kit that is just better, I would say, than Caim's for that kind of thing. Like offensively, Golden Knight is just a much more legit front row fighter than Caim, to be honest. But that's not it. So that was Beginning of Joker. Remember, it turns into End of Joker when you use it. And so when the 7 turns wears down, then you'll get access to End of Joker, which is a buff to all Earth allies that gets them 30% attack up, 30% defense up, 20% triple attack up, Revitalize, Shield, 10% damage cap up, 50% uplifted, Hype, and Veil. All the things. This is not a bad effect either, but keep in mind, if you use Beginning of Joker as soon as Caim comes to the front row, you're gonna have to wait 7 turns before you can get this off. And that's again similar issue to Double Deal. It essentially has a ready time and quite a sizable one. So it's a little bit tricky to play around, but it's not terrible. Okay, passives, because there's so much stuff with Caim. Okay, Caim's first passive is Wildcard. subject to all specialty weapon style and race-related weapon skills. So Caim counts as everything. If something boosts Saber specialty, it will boost Caim. If something boosts Draft, it will boost Caim. If something boosts defensive characters, it will boost Caim. Caim counts as everything. Staff, attack, human, Irun, I forgot the name of the race. I almost said Elven, but that's the Final Fantasy 14 thing. Harvin, like, it doesn't matter. Caim is all the things. So that's potentially pretty useful. Another, we talked about Hangman Reverse. The Fool Upright is, so all evokers have a thing where they start in the back row. When someone dies and they shift to the front row, thing happens. For Caim, it's the Fool Upright. And when switching the main ally, Spade, Jack, Spade, Heart, Diamond, and Club all rise by a random number. Because of course it had to be random. Can't be reactivated. So when I was saying it would be really hard to get these stacks all to max rank, and I stand by that. However, it is potentially possible depending on how well you roll that full upright skill. Let's see. Yeah, there's chances here. I guess there's a 40% chance to gain rank A on a specific suit. So you could potentially come to the front with everything at ace rank, and that'd be pretty good. But again, random, hard to play around. Last couple things to talk about. So Extended Mastery Support skill for Caim is lessen water damage for all allies. Fairly standard. A lot of characters have that. It's not bad at all. And then Domain Bonus Ability. This is new. So for all the evokers, they add this thing. You go to the limit bonus, you scroll past all the stuff. You can go to the unlocks here, domain unlocks. Domain unlocks let you get to this screen, and then from here you can unlock more bonuses for the evokers. So they're all pretty good. So 20% healing, that's a pretty high number. 10% skill damage cap, 10% debuff success rate, 15% charge hack damage cap. Note that these take Arcarum mats to unlock, so yeah, you know, it never ends with the Arcarum grind. If you unlock all 4 of these, then you would also unlock the support skill, which makes it so upon using a charge attack, you'll randomly raise 2 of the suit ranks by 1. These are all pretty good. The main issue with Caim specifically is you don't really want to run him front row. Therefore, I would say, unless you really want to just do everything on the evokers, I would not prioritize unlocking this stuff. It's just not really worth it at this point in time. For Caim specifically, because you don't really run Caim front row. Unless you do, in which case, go for it. Other thing that they added is they added new foundation weapons, so each of the evokers has their own weapon. These are alright. The main issue of them is they're not quite done yet, and I'm not going to get into the details of them. Right now, they add a pretty large damage cap bonus, but it's for Arcarum only. They have said that they will expand this, like I think at the end of this year or by the end of the year. We'll see if that actually happens. Yeah, we'll see if that actually happens. I'm a little skeptical, but they'll expand this bonus to to work outside of Arcarum. If that's the case, then okay, these would suddenly become very legit because that is huge cap up. But yes, the main issue of these is not that they're bad. Some of them are actually pretty good and probably worth using. It's that they take more Arcarum mats and quite a freaking lot of them to fully upgrade. So it's yet another grind that's on the horizon, and chances are, again, if they make this cap up available outside, then yeah, it's one that you're going to want to do. But if you're looking at these mats and just like kind of dying inside all over again, yeah, they take a lot of mats. Gonna point out here, 70 Hanged Man Idiotins. 70 idiots, then 30 more idiots, so 100 idiots to get this thing to 3-star. Who knows what it would take to get to 4-star. So yes, if you were sick of Arcarum and thought you were done, well, get ready to go back in. But again, that's a future you issue. Right now, you don't really need to worry about these things. I would certainly say if you're thinking about making these and you haven't gotten all your evokers done, get the evokers first. the Evokers are way higher priority than actually getting their weapons for now. That might change at some point, especially if this cap up gets pushed outside of Arcarum, but yeah, there you go. Honestly, I wasn't quite sure how to showcase Caim in standard usage, which means back row, because I'd mostly be just showcasing the rest of my team / my grid. But no, we'll go beat something up real fast, just so you can see what the damage numbers are like if you're running Caim in a fairly meta grid. Actually, now that I look at it, this is literally the meta Earth grid. I believe if you go on Kamagame, this is the exact Primal grid they recommend you run for Highlander Primal. So yeah, you'll get to see some pretty accurate numbers. These are the summons. Everything's max uncap except for Dogu. Dogu, I think, is what? Yeah, 2 of 4 stars. So once again, another Dogu. Actually, completely meta, I would switch Dogu for Galleon. But, you know, gotta get a Galleon first. Hopefully the subticks rise before... Hopefully there's a subticks before United Fight, in which case I would subticks Galleon, and then you'll get to see that. Alright, I don't want to do Europa, because that's going to take a while, so I guess we'll just do Granny, because this honestly is just going to be, here's the numbers. So let's just jump in. Granny is about to get folded in half. So, do that. Get all the stuff up. Give everybody charge bar. All the things. All the things. I don't even know if this is the right order. Honestly, I don't care. It's fine. And yeah, time to do an incredible amount of damage to Granny. So I do a progression in my grid, so it's going to take a little bit for that to build up all the way. But yeah, like, main reason you use Caim is just to allow you to do more deeps. Just all the deeps. But also, it can't be overstated that you also get a defense bonus, which is normally not a thing I super care about, but it can really make you tankier in certain fights. So if that's a thing that you need for a fight, it's a nice thing to have. And then we'll continue to beat Granny up. But yeah, the number's pretty spicy. Like, I think Jita is hitting for 1.5 mil on her autos. And that's the power of running Highlander for damage cap up, and then also running Caim for further damage cap up. But yes, yeah, like, and it's a little bit of a bummer that, like, a character that is just that complex is relegated to the back row, but I mean, it's fine. Like, Caim is still one of the top 3 Evokers, so, like, still completely worth building. It's just, if you want a character that you're actually, like, doing interesting things with, then Caim, that's not what Caim's for right now, to be honest. Caim's just for this bonus. Another issue with him is, like, I mean, it's not an issue, but if you really wanted to, like, do cool copy things, Golden Knight can copy stuff also. So that like I said, like, the copy things argument for Caim kind of went away when Golden Knight came out, because she can also copy things, but generally just has a better kit for being a front row fighter. But yeah, we'll finish Granny off. Stiggy's just snoring away in my lap, which is cute. But I do want to get a beverage. I finished my tea and now I want another tea. Be on the side, I assumed that green tea, or at least I drink matcha. I usually drink matcha, not green tea. Well, matcha is green tea, but I usually drink like powdered matcha as opposed to like steeped like tea bag green tea. I didn't realize matcha has so much caffeine in it. Like, matcha has as much caffeine as like a cup of coffee. And I was looking at it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just have something nice to chill with in the evening. It's like, nope. Apparently not. Alright, so this thing's almost over. But yes, pretty much all the damage in the world. That's what you get for running Caim in the background. Like, Narmaya is hitting for like 1.6 million per hit. Like, everyone's just hitting for ridiculous damage. But, I mean, you might think, well, is there any reason you wouldn't want to run Highlander Earth? I mentioned this before. Highlander grids tend to be, for other elements at least, tend to be for fights where the defense of the boss is low enough that you can reliably make use of that damage cap up. The same thing does apply to Earth. Like, if you are fighting something with extraordinarily high defense, then you might be better off running multiple Ichikoki the Furies. Just because, like, they'll be a little bit more consistent that way. But I think Earth, a conversation about Highlander, you probably can just always run Highlander because, honestly, the fact that you're doubling up that bonus, the fact that Caim does give you a passive Highlander bonus on top of the Highlander bonus from Staff of Dominion, does mean that, like, you can usually make it work. Like, you're usually fine most guys running Highlander. So, yeah, Highlander Earth is pretty much what you want to run, honestly. And I have, like I have multiple uncapped Ichikoki the Furies, so it's like, as much as I want to run them, you're probably just better off running Highlander Earth. Okay, we'll do a copy build Caim real quick and then close this out. Well, we'll see what loot we got. Anything? I don't even remember what you dropped. An anima? I'll take it. Okay, if you really want to see Caim front row, well, here we go. So you probably want to run Caim for Lucha setup. I think a question a lot of people will ask is, do you need Zeta and Veseraga to legitimately run Caim front row? Well, that depends on what you mean by legitimately. I would not recommend you run Caim front row about Zeta and Veseraga. You could probably also run Caim front row if you had a Leona and wanted to copy one of her things. Hello, Stig. Do you want to climb up, baby? Hang on. Being attacked by a cat. So, in much the same way as Golden Knight, Caim would probably also work very well with Leona. Though Caim would not work well with Eugen. So if you just go look up on my channel, the Golden Knight Spotlight, you'll see a strat. Stig, can you sit down? A strat where I run Golden Knight with Eugen, which essentially lets her basically double charge attack every single turn. She is able to do that because of all of her skill cooldown cuts, in addition to the fact that she double charge attacks based on number of buffs, in addition to the fact that she can't be dispelled. Like, Golden Knight has a whole suite of skills that are pretty legit that make her a very good frontline fighter. Caim only has the copy. And the copy alone without the skill cooldown cuts wouldn't be enough to sustain that loop. But he should work well with Zetaraga and Leona. I think Leona. I haven't tried the Leona thing, but I don't see any reason why Leona wouldn't work well. And Leona's a pretty good character. So yes, if you need a refresher on copy skills, you use the skill you want to copy, so Magic Horizons, then you use the skill that copies it. Also note, because I used that skill, it changed this into Diamond Trick. I will stay Diamond Trick until I charge check. So let's get the rest of the setup going. And like I said, this won't be bad by any stretch. This will be fine. The damage here will be good. But the main thing is, for this particular role, Golden Knight's gonna be better. Like, if you don't have Golden Knight, then I guess that's a bit of a moot point, so Caim would be fine if you want to do this. But yeah, you do need someone with something worth copying to really make Caim legitimately good as a front row character, because beyond the copy, like, his other stuff just isn't good enough to justify it. But yeah, it's a pretty big echo, it's guaranteed triple, the setup's not terrible. It's also not, like, earth-shatteringly amazing. It was certainly better a while ago, because it's a little bit of a dated setup, but it's fine. Like, if you really want to run Caim front row, you can do this. It's just, you're losing... It's hard to justify losing the extra damage and defense and damage cap of having him in the back row. is the main issue. And yeah, like all copy characters, you need a very specific skill you want to copy to justify running on front row. And I would classify front row Caim as a copy character. Like, his main thing is he copies things. So we'll just kill Makula and then have some conclusions. So that will reset his blank face, his third skill. So it's not Diamond Trick anymore because again we used the charge check, so reset. So it resets a cooldown, but you're gonna have to set this up again to copy something because like now you can't use it right now because it's blank face. So the only thing I have available is this spell. So I guess I can like turn it into Club Trick. But you can start to understand why it's a little awkward to try and get this thing stacked, especially if you're not doing the full upright. The full upright's when he comes from back row to front row, and the full upright's random too. So like on top of all that, right? I can use double deal actually. Though this thing might be dead before double deal actually becomes relevant. So double deal should in theory work with Narmaya's assassin. Now that's gonna come up in time, so you'd be able to use that for 2 turns. It's not bad. But again, just like got a ready time, it's just got a lot of drawbacks. And overall, that's the thing with front row Caim, right? None of his kit is bad, but there's an opportunity cost. There's a huge opportunity cost to having him front row because he's so powerful back row. So that's why you don't really want to run him front row. I mean, potentially maybe that would change if they really like did something with the new weapons, the new foundation weapons. Because the new foundation weapons, in theory, could give you a reason to want to run him front row, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes, I guess. Oh, and you see I had double deal, so it reset this. Not that you want to use Knife Hand Strike twice, but we'll just use it, I guess. Spade trick him. So we're at the end of the fight, and Caim has 1 stack of spades, 1 stack of clubs, 1 stack of diamonds. So you kind of see, a little tricky to build that stuff up. And it's not astronomical enough a buff to be really something that's worth building up. But yeah, there you go. That's what Caim's like front row. Not bad, but again, opportunity cost is the thing you have to keep in mind. You gain so much by having him back row that it's hard to justify the trade-off of having him front row. So conclusions on Caim. Caim is an amazing character. Extremely powerful. Entirely justified as being one of the top 3 evokers in the game. But let's call a spade, which is a particularly apt saying given Caim's nature. It is entirely because of the Hangman Reversed. The Hangman Reverse is just such a powerful effect to have passively that this is the reason why you run Caim. The fact that moving him to the front row disables this bonus means it's such a huge opportunity cost. It's really hard to justify having Caim in the front row. And yeah, I know some people are going to be a little bit annoyed that like they work so hard to get this character and this character just sits in the back row as a buff. But honestly, like the fact that he can buff the whole team without taking up a front row slot is a huge bonus. It's the same reason, among a few other reasons, why Ray, for example, is so good. And yeah, like that's just this character. Like all the stuff Caim can do in the front row, it's okay. Like none of it's particularly mind-blowing. Like the buffs he gets, again, they take a long time to build up. And honestly, when they're fully stacked, they're not even that strong. When they're fully stacked, they're all right. And then double deal, like there's potentially some cool stuff you can do with it, but like whether or not that's just practical to do regularly is an open question. And like, yeah, there's just a lot of stuff you can do in the front row, but not really any of it, I would say, is worth the opportunity cost of losing this bonus. Now, granted, I am speaking from the perspective of someone that has a ton of characters. Like someone who's playing a long time has a ton of characters. If you only have Zeta and Visaraga, for example, and Caim, and then a bunch of random like Earth characters that aren't great, then yeah, okay, run in front row. That makes sense. Or if you don't have a Highlander grid, then okay, you can run Caim front row. Um, Again, I probably wouldn't say you should build Caim, or you shouldn't go for Caim. You shouldn't build Caim if you don't have a Highlander grid. But if you do happen to have Caim and you don't have a Highlander grid, then yeah, you can run front row. But as you get your grid set up, as you get more characters in your roster, it's going to be harder and harder not to justify pushing the back row just because it's such a huge benefit to your team in the back row. So yeah, that's Caim. Like, totally legitimately one of the top 3 evokers in the game, but very narrow in how you use him. And that's just how it is, honestly. Very powerful character. If for some reason you feel like there's a reason to run Caim front row that I haven't covered, then feel free to mention it down below in the comments. I'm curious what people's perspectives are on this. But do keep in mind also, if you're just talking about copying a thing, Golden Knight can do that, and Golden Knight can probably do that better because she's just much better equipped. Like, if you're curious about Golden Knight, I did a character spotlight on her. Granted, that requires you to have Golden Knight, so totally fair if you don't have Golden Knight and you really want to copy something. But anyways, that's been a character spotlight game. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!